Hey guys, before we get started, I thought it would be a good idea to go through some of the form basics. So some foundational exercises just to make sure we really nail that form. We want to make sure that form comes number one especially before we add any weights to these movements. So if you're a beginner, make sure you go through these exercises. We are going to start off with some squats. So squats will be in these workouts quite a bit, especially if we are doing a leg workout. So what you want to do, you want to set yourself up first before you even move down into that squat. You want to make sure your feet are in between hip width and shoulder width apart. So your knees and toes are going to slightly go out. They're never caving in. We're going to send our hips back. So almost like we want that weight in our heels, so that it's almost like we're sitting down into a chair that is maybe a little bit too far back. And then you're gonna squeeze up with those glutes. So sticking the bum back. The biggest mistake here I see is people having their hips over their ankles. So when they come down, their knees are coming out past those toes and not the heels. As you can see, my heels are coming up. We don't want the heels to come up. We really want to practice this movement, so make sure that that weight is in the heels. We're sitting back, the chest is staying up, and we're squatting down. So practice these before we get started. Next up is the hinge. You are going to hear the word hinge when there is exercises like your deadlifts, bent over rows. So basically the hinge means we are hinging from the hips. So there's a break here. We're not coming into that squat, although your knees are going to be nice and soft, so slightly bent. You're going to hinge from the hips. So basically you're sticking your bum out. So almost pretend like you're, shutting the car door with your bum there. So you're gonna keep that hips at that same level. They're not coming down, they're pushing back, and you're coming here. So this would be hinging from the hips. My back is nice and flat. So in a deadlift, you'll be holding weights, but if you are a beginner, do this without weights until you get this movement down. So you're gonna come down. When you're here, we're gonna engage those glutes up and squeeze up with the glutes and the hamstrings. So here, so once you're down here, make sure you engage those glutes. Really focus on that mind-muscle connection here, using those glutes to bring that weight up. If you start feeling this in your low back, that's probably because you're not keeping that back flat and you're not working those glutes and really engaging them, working the glutes. So practice that. You can always even grab a broomstick. I know when I first started learning how to do deadlifts is I practiced with a broomstick. So just make sure you nail that form first and we can eventually up that weight. One quick thing about weights, if you do not have weights at home, I've seen people use, even just to start off with, cans of soup. They moved up to cans of spaghetti, any kind of thing like water jugs or anything like that that you have kicking around your house. You can start off with those until maybe you find some dumbbells. Okay, another big move that we will be doing a lot of is lunges. So lunges, the biggest thing here, we want to make sure we take a big enough step back or forward to the side, because there's going to be different variations to the lunge. So if we're going to do a reverse lunge, we want to basically make sure we're stepping back far enough. So if you come here and say you don't take a big enough step, you notice that that weight is coming up on your front toe instead of sitting in that front heel, then that's okay. You just got to come up and make sure that you take a bigger step next time. So it'll be a nice big step. I'm going to come down. So my knees, my legs, 90-degree angle. So my knee up front is not going out past that toe. That weight is primarily pushing in that front heel. You'll feel it in your back as well. You want to keep your chest up. So here, okay? So there will be front lunges as well at some point where you just they're a little bit trickier than the reverse lunge. You need to take a really big step forward. So same thing, and then press back. Okay, another movement, because we are limited to equipment for upper body, is going to be push-ups. Push-ups are going to be in there. We are going to get good at push-ups, guys. We're going to be amazing. So first of all, if you are new and you cannot do a full push-up, not to worry, you can always do these off the wall. But when we're doing push-ups for form, I want you to think about your hands are gonna be kind of right underneath those shoulders, okay? So here, so if you're doing it off the wall, you can just basically push yourself off the wall. Your next modification is gonna be off your knees. So I'll show you here. So my hands are gonna be directly underneath those shoulders. I'm gonna be up on my knees here. Whichever way, the biggest thing, we want full range of motion. So I'm gonna go all the way down and then push back up. Or if we're doing them on our toes, and back up, okay? So it's just basically making sure that we have those hands underneath our shoulders. We will have maybe some narrower ones where they're tricep push-ups. So those will just go really closer in here. So you're gonna be having those elbows tucked into your side. But just for the regular push-ups, just maybe practice them. Just practice keeping your chest kind of up, shoulders are down and back. Make sure you're getting that full range of motion. Okay, so that's going to be it for our basic movements during this program. All the other little ones I will be explaining as we go. I just want to make sure that you really had those ones down pat. We don't want any injuries here. We want to make sure that we, like I said at the beginning of this video, we are focusing on form number one. So if you need to go through these a few times to practice up, no worries, just do what you got to do. And we will start off our workouts nice and strong. But just another reminder, make sure that you are not using any weights if you're not comfortable with them yet. Make sure you get that motion down. Remember, like I said, grab a broomstick or something like that. And also another thing, don't worry about keeping up with me. Don't worry about keeping up with your buddy, your next, whoever. You are your own person, and I want to make sure that we are not comparing with other people. We are all at different points in our lives, in our fitness journey here. So don't worry about rushing these workouts. We can always hit that pause button if, say, we need to rest a little bit more. If you hear me throughout these videos, I'm a little out of breath. I'm trying my hardest not to breathe into the mic for you guys, but they're tough. They're meant to be tough. We want to challenge ourselves. These workouts are short on purpose because we are going hard. I always tell my clients, I'm sure that everyone's getting sick of me saying this, we can either work hard or we can work long. I don't really know about you, but I don't have hours to spend in the gym like I used to maybe back in the day. I want to kind of get in and get out. So these workouts, just think they're roughly 30 minutes. You just got to get in there, do your best. That's all I ask, is you do your best, challenge yourself, maybe up those weights after a little bit, and it'll all just come together. All right, so we'll see you in those workouts. Enjoy, guys.